Big immigration updates this week: citizenship, border security, work permits, and processing times. So Canada, America's sensible upstairs neighbor, has been busy. Like, really busy. While everyone was distracted by, well, everything, Canada decided to overhaul its entire immigration system. It's like they Marie Kondoed their policies, asking each one, does this spark joy or just a 10-year processing delay? From who can become a citizen just by being born, to who gets to cross the border, to how long you have to wait for that life-changing piece of paper, it's all on the table. It's a massive shakeup. And if you've ever dreamt of a life filled with maple syrup, free healthcare, and apologizing for everything, you need to pay attention. This isn't just some minor tweak like adding a new poutine flavor. No, this is a fundamental shift in how Canada sees itself and its future. They're rolling out new rules that will affect millions of people, both inside and outside the country. Think of it as the season finale of Canada's immigration journey, and trust me, there are plot twists. We're talking about new bills that could change the very definition of a refugee, updates to work permits that could leave people in limbo, and changes to citizenship that are reaching back through generations. It's a complex web of policy, politics, and personal stories. So, for the next few minutes, we're gonna break it all down. Forget the confusing government websites and the legal jargon that sounds like it was written by a robot. We'll cut through the noise and get to what this actually means for you. Whether you're already in Canada, planning to move, or just have a weirdly specific interest in Canadian parliamentary procedure, and honestly, who doesn't? This is your guide. We'll cover everything from the new Strong Borders Act to the latest express entry draws and what's happening in Quebec. So grab a double-double, get comfortable, and let's dive into Canada's big immigration shakeup. First up, let's talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of an episode of Who Do You Think You Are? Citizenship by descent. Canada is looking at a new bill, Bill C-3, which basically expands the Canadian Club to people who didn't even know they had a membership card. Previously, the rule was pretty strict. If you were born abroad to a Canadian parent who was also born abroad, you weren't automatically a citizen. It was like a one-generation-only pass. But now, they're saying, wait a minute, what if your grandparent was the one chilling in Saskatoon? This new rule would grant citizenship to children born abroad if their Canadian parent can prove a substantial connection to Canada. It's a game changer. Think about the implications, especially for a place like India, which has a massive and deeply rooted diaspora. Suddenly you have generations of people who might have a grandparent who moved from Canada decades ago. They've grown up with stories, maybe a few old photos, and a strange love for hockey. Now, they might have a legitimate claim to a Canadian passport. This isn't just about paperwork, it's about reconnecting with a heritage that might have felt distant. It's an acknowledgement that Canadianness isn't just about where you were born, but about the ties that bind you across oceans and generations. It's Canada basically saying, hey, remember us? We remember you. Come on back, eh? Of course, the devil is in the details. What exactly qualifies as a substantial connection? The bill says you need to have spent at least 1,095 days, that's 3 years, physically in Canada before your child was born. So, it's not a free-for-all. You can't just have a great uncle who once had a layover in Toronto. You need to have put in the time. But for those who qualify, this is huge. It's a chance to reclaim a piece of their identity, to open up incredible opportunities for their children, and for Canada, it's a way to strengthen its global family. It's a beautiful, slightly complicated family reunion. Now, while Canada is opening one door with the citizenship bill, it's looking to put a very serious-looking new lock on another. Let's talk about the Strong Borders Act. You know, a bill is going to be controversial when it sounds like the title of a Jason Statham movie. The government says this is all about modernizing the system and cracking down on what they call asylum shopping, people making claims in multiple countries. They want to make the system faster and fairer for genuine refugees by weeding out unfounded claims more quickly. On paper, it sounds logical, right? Efficiency, security, control. Who doesn't want a strong border? It feels safe, like a good sturdy door. But here's where it gets complicated. Critics, including a whole host of immigration lawyers and human rights groups, are raising some serious red flags. They argue that this bill could do more harm than good. They're worried it gives too much power to border officers to turn people away without a proper hearing. Imagine fleeing persecution, arriving terrified at the border, and having your entire future decided in a brief, high-pressure interview. The critics say this bill might be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, potentially sending legitimate refugees back to danger simply because they couldn't perfectly articulate their case in a moment of crisis. It's the classic debate: security versus compassion. Essentially, the bill introduces new grounds for inadmissibility, making it easier to deny a claim up front. The government says this will streamline the process and reduce backlogs. Opponents say it undermines the fundamental principles of international refugee law, which Canada has historically championed. They argue that a person's claim deserves to be heard by an independent tribunal, not just a border agent with a checklist. So you have two very different visions of what a strong border looks like. Is it one that's impenetrable and efficient, or is it one that's robust enough to protect the vulnerable? Canada is trying to figure that out, and the answer will have life or death consequences for many. Alright, let's switch gears to something that affects thousands of people already inside Canada, the maintain status rule. This sounds boring, I know. It sounds like something your IT guy mumbles about server maintenance. But trust me, if you're in Canada on a temporary permit, like a work or study permit, this is incredibly important. For a long time, the rule was a lifesaver. It meant that as long as you applied to extend your permit before it expired, you could legally keep working or studying under the same conditions while you waited for a decision. It was a bridge, a safety net, that let you continue your life without interruption. It was called implied status, and it was beautiful. Well, the government has been making tweaks, and the message is getting clearer. Don't push your luck. They are cracking down. The grace period, that beautiful bridge, is becoming more like a tightrope. The key takeaway here, and I cannot stress this enough, is that you absolutely must apply for your new permit before your current one expires. If you miss that deadline by even a day, you fall out of status. You lose the right to work. You lose the right to study. You basically become a tourist overnight, and you have to stop everything until you can get your status restored, which is a whole other nightmare of paperwork and waiting. It's like playing a video game where your power-up suddenly runs out mid-level. So what does this mean for you? It means you need to be organized. You need to be proactive. Mark your calendar. Set a reminder on your phone. Tattoo your permit expiry date on your arm if you have to, okay? Maybe don't do that, but you get the idea. The days of casually sending in your application a week before it's due are over. With processing times being what they are, you need to give yourself a huge buffer. Think of your permit's expiry date not as a deadline, but as a final warning. Applying early is no longer just a good idea, it's the only way to guarantee you don't lose the life you've built while waiting for the government to get back to you. Let's talk about Express Entry, the system that's basically the America's Got Talent for Canadian immigrants. For years it was all about one thing: the highest score wins. You racked up points for your age, education, language skills, and work experience. It was a pure meritocracy of points. Whoever had the highest comprehensive ranking system, or CRS score, got the golden ticket, an invitation to apply, or ITA, for permanent residency. It was straightforward, if a little stressful. You were constantly trying to find ways to boost your score, like learning a third language or getting another degree. It was an arms race of qualifications. But now, Canada has changed the game. They've introduced category-based draws. This is a massive shift. It means that instead of just picking the highest scores, the government is now targeting people with specific skills and experience that Canada desperately needs. Think of it as a VIP list for certain professions. Right now, the hot tickets are in healthcare, STEM fields, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, trades like carpentry and plumbing, transport, and agriculture. If you're a nurse, a software developer, or a truck driver, your CRS score suddenly matters a little less, and your job title matters a whole lot more. It's like the bouncer at the club is no longer checking IDs, he's just looking for doctors and engineers. This is incredible news if you're in one of those fields. Your chances of getting an invitation have skyrocketed, even with a score that might have been considered average last year. The government is literally rolling out the red carpet for you. On top of that, the provincial nominee programs, or PNPs, are still going strong, allowing individual provinces to nominate candidates who meet their specific economic needs. So, my advice is this: optimize everything. Tailor your Express Entry profile to highlight any experience you have in these priority sectors. Don't just list your job title. Use the right National Occupational Classification, or NOC code. This is no longer about just having a high score. It's about being the right person, in the right profession, at the right time. Alright, let's address the elephant in every applicant's room: processing times. You've submitted your application, you've crossed every T and dotted every I. You've sent your life story in a manila envelope to the government of Canada. Now what? You wait, and refresh the IRCC website 1,000 times a day. It can feel like sending a message into the void. Well, the good news is, the void is starting to send some messages back. IRCC has released its updated processing time service standards for June 2025, giving us a clearer, if not always faster, picture of what to expect. This is crucial for planning your life. Let's break down some of the big ones. For federal high-skilled workers, like those in the express entry pool, they're aiming to process 80% of applications within 6 months. That's the gold standard. For spousal and common-law partner sponsorships, if the partner is outside Canada, you're looking at about 12 months. If they're inside Canada, it's around 10 months. And for citizenship applications, the target is a cool 12 months. Now, these are targets. They are not guarantees. Think of them less as a promise and more as an optimistic projection, like when your friend says they'll be there in 5 minutes. Knowing these timelines is powerful. It allows you to manage your expectations and make informed decisions. If you know your work permit extension will take 4 months, you know you need to apply at least 5 or 6 months in advance to be safe. If you're sponsoring your spouse, you know you're in for about a year-long wait, so you can plan your finances, your living situation, and most importantly, your sanity accordingly. This isn't just data, it's a roadmap. It helps you see the journey ahead, even if some of the roads are a bit longer than you'd like. So, take a deep breath, look at the numbers, and plan. And finally, we have to talk about Quebec, because in Canada there's the federal immigration system, and then there's Quebec. It's like the main movie, and it's very popular French-speaking spin-off series. Quebec has always had a special agreement that gives it significant control over who immigrates to the province, primarily to protect and promote the French language. And they've just laid out their plan for 2026 through 2029. And it's very Quebec. They are doubling down on their priorities, and if you're thinking of moving to Montreal or Quebec City, you need to listen up because their rules are different. The big headline from their new multi-year plan is an absolute non-negotiable focus on French. They want nearly 100% of their economic immigrants to be French-speaking. This is a huge increase from their already high targets. They're basically saying if you want to come here to work and build a life, you need to speak the language. Period. They're also putting a cap on the number of temporary workers and international students they'll accept, which is a major departure from the federal government's strategy of welcoming more and more. Quebec is worried about the strain on social services, housing, and the erosion of French in Montreal. So, what does this mean for prospective immigrants? It means if Quebec is your destination, your French language skills are not just a bonus. They are your ticket in. Your TEF or TCF test scores are more valuable than almost anything else on your application. The province is also focusing on attracting immigrants who are willing to settle in regions outside of Montreal, trying to spread the population and economic benefits. It's a clear signal. Quebec is charting its own course, prioritizing Francization and regionalization above all else. It's a reminder that Canada isn't a monolith, it's a complex federation. And when it comes to immigration, you have to know which set of rules you're playing by. So there you have it. Canada's immigration landscape is shifting under our feet. From new paths to citizenship for the descendants of Canadians to stricter rules at the border and a complete reshuffling of who gets priority for permanent residency, it's a lot to take in. It's clear that Canada is trying to be more strategic, more targeted, and in some ways more demanding of the people who want to call it home. It's a balancing act between welcoming new people, meeting economic needs, and managing the pressures that come with growth. For anyone on this journey, staying informed isn't just helpful. It's essential for your success. The rules of the game are changing, but the dream for many remains the same. The chance to build a better life in a country known for its kindness and opportunity. Whether these changes make your path easier or harder depends entirely on your personal circumstances, your profession, your family history, your language skills. The key is to understand the new playbook and adapt your strategy. Don't get caught off guard by an expired permit or a new policy you didn't see coming. Knowledge is your most powerful tool right now. Use it to navigate the complexities and position yourself for the best possible outcome. This stuff is complicated, and it changes all the time. That's why we do these videos. If you found this breakdown helpful, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next update. And if you know someone else who's trying to make sense of all this, please share this video with them. The more we all know, the better we can navigate this journey together. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.